Hello everyone once again. Myself Shefa Shah from LG Institute of Engineering and Technology in the Department of Information and Communication Technology. Today is a session 3 of our lecture series Microprocessor and Microcontroller, which was based on Unit 2, starting with the Unit 2, that is Architecture of Microprocessor 8085 and 8051 microcontroller. Right? So in today's session, we are going to discuss about architecture of microprocessor 8085 as well as some features of 8085. Right? So topics to be covered in this following session are features of microprocessor 8085, architecture of 8085, flag register, and different sections of architecture will be discussed. Now, first of all, going to the features of microprocessor 8085. So, these are the following features of microprocessor 8085. So, first feature, that is 8085 is developed by Intel, right? So, as we have discussed in our introductory session, that 8085 is an Intel second generation microprocessor, which is an 8-bit microprocessor, right? So second feature is 8-bit microprocessor, right? Then 8-bit microprocessor means it can accept 8-bit data, or it can transmit 8-bit data simultaneously, right? Then third feature is it operates on plus 5 volt DC supply, right? Then fourth, that is designed on using NMOS technology. NMOS technology stands for negative metallic oxide semiconductor technology. Right? Now it has 6200, that is 6200 transistors on a single chip. Right? Now, next, that is it provides an on-chip clock generator, and hence it does not require any external clock, and the clock frequency on which 8085 operates, that is 3 megahertz. Right? Now it has 8-bit multiplex address and data bus, right, which reduce the number of pins. Right? So total it is a 40 pin IC in which 8 pins are multiplex address and data bus. Clear? Then 16-bit address lines, right, in which 8-bit are multiplexed with this data bus, and another 8-bit is called as higher order address bus. So it can address up to 2 raised to 16, which is 64 KB of memory. Right? It generates 8-bit IO addresses. Hence, it can access 2 raised to 8, that is 256 IO ports. Right? And next, that is it has 5 hardware interrupts. First, that is trap, then reset 6.5, which is RST 6.5, RST 5.5, RST 4.5, and INTR. Right? And last feature, that is it provides DMA, that is direct memory access. Now, next we are going to discuss, that is architecture of 8085. So this is the internal architecture, or you can say as functional block diagram of 8085. Right? Now, as you can see in this block diagram, there are total 5 groups. Right? First group at the top of the this is called as interrupt control group. Second, at the right side of the corner, which is called as serial IO group. Right? In the between, it has 8-bit internal data bus, where the data can be accessed or exchanged from one element to another element. Right? In between, it is an ALU section. Right? ALU and logical section. Right? Now, this section, that is 8 number, that is called as instruction register section. Clear? Now, this is a register array, right? And here in the bottom, it will have a timing and control group, right? So in this whole figure, it has been shown various blocks in the architecture of pin 8085. right, with its various pins. So this regarding this pins we will discuss in our further session of pin diagram, right? But before that we are going to discuss about the each and every group in detail, right? So this architecture you have to remember for your exam purpose, right? And here you can see this is a multiplexed address and data bus which is called as AD7 to AD0, which is lower order address bus and data bus, and here higher order address bus which is A5 to A15, right? So this whole forms the A0 to A15 which is a 16-bit address line, and D0 to D7 which is our 8-bit data bus, right? So this whole diagram shows the architecture of 8085. Clear? Once again, it has a 5 groups. First, it is a interrupt control group at the top. At the rightmost top, it is a serial IO control group. In between, it is a 8-bit internal data bus. Then it will have a register section, right? Here it is a ALU section, that is arithmetic and logical group, right? And at the bottom, it will have a timing and control group. So these 5 sections we will discuss in this session, right? Now, so 8085 architecture description, right? So as we have seen in architecture diagram, it will have a total 5 8085 architecture consists of following blocks. First, that is register array, that is register section. Second, that is ALU group. Third, that is instruction decoder and machine cycle encoder and timing and control circuitry. Fourth, that is interrupt control group, and fifth, that is IO control group, right? So these 5 groups will be explained one by one in the session, right? So first in this today's session we are going to start with register array. So register array, now register array, here 14 registers are there in 8085, out of which 12 are of 8-bit capacity, right? And 2 of 16-bit capacity, right? So the 8-bit capacity are general purpose register and temporary register, and the 2 16-bit register are the special purpose register, right? Which are classified into 4 types. So first classification, that is based on general purpose register. Now this general purpose register, they are accessible with the user. The user can user can store the data, user can receive the data from that general purpose register. So there are 6 types of register in general purpose register. They are called as B, C, D, E, H and L. These 6 are the 8-bit register and can be used single, right? If we want to use this 6 register as a 16-bit register, then we can use this as a register pair, right? Compulsory we need to use the register pair as BC, then DE and HL, right? Which are used to store the intermediate data and result. Whenever there is a multiplication process, the 8-bit multiplication into 8-bit multiplication, the answer will be a 16-bit. So for this, we need this type of register pair. Either it will be a BC, DE or HL. So for using 16-bit to store data, we need to use this registers pair. And if we want to store 8-bit data, then there are 6 registers available to the users, right? And H and L can be used as a data pointers, right? Which can hold the memory address of the memory, right? So H and L will be also used as a data pointer, right? So these is the first classification out of 12 registers which are of 8-bit capacity. 6 are of general purpose register, right? Now apart from this general purpose register, there is also one special register which is called as A, that is called as accumulator, right? Then instruction register and flag register. These all 3 registers will be see in detail. Right, the first, that is A, capital A, which stands for accumulator, which is also accessible to the user. Right, now this accumulator is considered as a special purpose register which has a 8-bit register. So all the ALU operations, that is arithmetic and logical operations, are performed with the reference of accumulator. Right, so if we are using an let's say an add instruction, so add instruction will perform having two register, in which one register will compulsory will be a accumulator. Right, so any ALU operations which we are going to perform, in which one register will be compulsory a accumulator, and other registers can be either from the 6 of the general purpose register. Right, and it store 8-bit data during IO transfer. Right, now second type of register, that is instruction register. Right, these instruction register are not accessible to users. Right, that means they are internally used by the processor. So when an instruction is fetched from a memory, it is loaded in instruction register. So whenever, as we have discussed in unit 1, that the processor will work on 3 cycles: fetch, decode, and execute. So whenever the instruction will fetched, the instruction will be stored in the instruction register, and then after this the fetched instruction will be transferred to the decoder for decoding. Right, so it is not programmable and cannot be accessed through any instructions. Now further going with third special type of register, that is the flag register, which is also a user accessible. Right, so it is again a 8-bit register. Right, and it indicates the status of ALU operations. After ALU operations has been performed with the accumulator, the flag register is updated. Right, so ALU includes 5 flip-flop which are set and reset after an operation according to the data conditions of the result of accumulator. So whenever the data after ALU operations, the result is stored in accumulator, and due to the result stored, there are 5 flags which are affected after the operation. Right, the 5 is as you show in the figure. This is the total 8-bit register. Right, from C, that is from D0, to S, that is from D7. Right, in which D0 is assigned to a carry flag, D1 is not used, the D2 is used for a parity flag, D3 is again not used, D4 is used as a auxiliary carry flag, D5 is not used, and D6 for zero flag, and D7 for sign flag. Right, now this functions has been defined in this session. Right, so first, what does the C or carry flag, CY flag stands for? So CY flag is set when an arithmetic operation generates a carry out. Otherwise it is reset. If it is set, then it will set to a 1, and if it is a reset, then it will set to a 0. Right, so whenever there is a addition or subtraction, right, if there is a carry from one bit to another, then after operation of 8-bit, the carry flag will be set. Right, so if the answer is more than 8-bit, then the carry flag will be set automatically, otherwise it will be a resetted. Right, next, that is parity flag. So parity shows number of ones is in even or odd. Right, so if parity flag is equal to 1, then the result of ALU operations has an even number of ones. Right, and if parity flag is 0, then the number of ones in after an ALU operation is 0. Right, now third flag, that is AC, that is auxiliary carry flag. It is similar to CY flag, but when an auxiliary carry flag will be checked, so if there is a carry from D3 to D4 bit, if there is carry from lower nibble to higher nibble, then we need to check for auxiliary carry flag. So if there is carry from D3 to D4 bit, then auxiliary flag will be 1. Otherwise, there will be a 0. Right, and next flag, that is 0 flag. So 0 flag will be affected if the result after the ALU operation in accumulator is 0. right? So 0 flag will be 1, otherwise it will be a 0, right? And last, that is sign flag. So sign flag shows that the result of accumulator is negative or positive, right? This is generally for the signed numbers, right? If a D7 bit of accumulator is 1, then it indicates the result is negative. And if the D7 bit of accumulator is 0, then it indicates that result is positive. Clear? Okay. So that's all for today's session, right? Now, next, all other groups, rest of the groups, right? That is instruction decoder group, in instruction decoder group, timing and control circuitry group, right? Then interrupt control group, serial control group, ALU group. This all will be explained in the next session. So we will continue this architecture session in the next session.